Hello everyone, this is Sean and welcome to a new Rimworld Alpha 15 Let's Play. This is a new colony that we're starting up today. It's going to be pretty exciting. Unfortunately, there was a bit of an error when I made this episode, and I deleted the introduction before I checked to make sure that I processed the videos correctly. Unfortunately, that was a mistake on my part. I should pay a little better attention with those things. But I have the video for episode 1 and 2. Unfortunately, I don't have the character creation and the map and the game start and all that. So if you love watching me roll characters, that is just not going to happen in this one, unfortunately. But I do have all the information for the map, so I can show you how I got this colony started up. We went to New Colony, of course. We are using my customized Lost Tribe scenario. It's basically the same as the normal Lost Tribe scenario, except I do not start with 3 random pets. I eliminated that out of the list. Everything else is the same. And I disabled the Incident Wanderer join, so that way I won't just have random people join up for no reason. I still have the option of turning down or accepting people, runaways who have raiders chasing them, that sort of thing. But this way I won't get stuck with people who can't haul or who have really bad attitudes and stuff. And sometimes Cassandra likes to send me those people, even when I have like 15 or 17 pawns. It really doesn't make any sense. So just a little bit of personal preference stuff here. I don't like animals. I think everybody knows that. Although there's a good chance I'm going to get chickens and possibly some other like leather producing animal later on in this game. We'll see. But for now, I don't want any animals. I just don't have time for it. So we went with the Lost Tribe scenario. Of course, we're playing on Cassandra Extreme, and we're on Permadeath mode. And for my, is it still in there? No, it isn't. For my seed, I used Sean, and then I used the date, which is 11, 13, 16. 11, that's too many ones. 11, 13, 16. And we generated the world. And I used this square on the map. So at 8107, 1600 north, if you want to play along at home. And I went into the advanced and I set it to a large map, 300 by 300 cells. And then I selected that, and then I went about rolling my pawns. Actually had pretty good luck with the pawns. I think I kept 4 of the original 5 without any rerolls. And then I didn't have a very strong social pawn, and so I re-rolled the first pawn probably 5 or 6 times and just kept coming up with a bunch of duds. And so I got a pawn that was okay at social but really good at research, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. So, you know, mostly original pawns, but you know, I keep a little chart. Actually, you're kind of lucky that it didn't save, because I spent an awful long time writing down and taking notes while I was trying to talk the whole time, and that may not be the most interesting way to listen. But I kept a little chart, and you know, I only had one good, decent social person, and he wasn't all that great. I only have one cook, but I'm not too worried about the cook, because they're just going to be making pemmican, and picking up another cook from the raiders won't be too hard. I have a few guys that are pretty good at construction and growing. Actually, I only have one guy that's good at growing, but that's all right. He can handle it. Um, and yeah, 3 pawns that are good at researching. So research is really important in these tribal starts. We are going to try to do a no turret playthrough. That should be in the title, so that's not going to come as a surprise. But I think that'll be a fun challenge. Maybe I'm biting off more than I can chew. Maybe we should be playing at intense difficulty instead of extreme difficulty. But we just did a 76 episode Fallville Let's Play. If this one ends up only being 10 or 12 episodes, at least it'll be exciting. We will play this one until Alpha 16 comes out, and then once Alpha 16 comes out, obviously this one will have to be retired. So we'll see how it goes. I'm expecting 30 episodes or so by the time Alpha 16 comes out, which shouldn't be until at least November, or at least December. So we have a couple of weeks left. Anyways, I'm going to put a cut in here and we will jump to the original recording. Again, I apologize if you missed out on me rolling those characters, but I only re-rolled one of them really, and most of it was me just looking through them in detail. And unfortunately, I don't really look through them in detail once we start the colony, because it's like, oh, you guys just looked through these. I might actually even say that. So sorry about that. Right, we are back, and here we are. I took the opportunity to plan the colony out and do a few other things, so let's walk through what I've done. First off, I planned the colony out. This isn't the map that I thought it was. The one I had before had a lake over, well, it doesn't matter what it looked like. But this one is acceptable. It's not quite as nice as the last one I have, but it'll serve our purposes. So it's got a huge lake. It actually has two huge lakes, but we're not really going to take advantage of this one. But this lake is really large, so we're going to make that the kill zone. And so I kind of squared that off, but we'll build the wall a little more precisely around it. I think we're going to leave this area open up and basically leave this area open here so they have to cross this lake. I guess maybe the smarter way to do it would be to leave this area open and make them cross the lake lengthwise like this. But I did already set this up to where this area is open. Actually, maybe leaving like this open so they have to cross up through here. That would probably be the best way to do it. But we'll figure that out when we actually have to start playing on it. But because this is the hospital right here, so I'd set the hospital up based on the ways the rest of this lake is set up. And here's the prison, and the prison, again, right near where all the action is going to be for the fighting. So there's the prison. And this is the kitchen. So the kitchen right near the food source. Left a little extra space down here in case I need to expand it in the future. This will be my first housing project right there. Here's where we're going to have our workshops. And normally I would have my storage area underneath a mountain that I've hollowed out. But as you can see, there are no mountains in my immediate area here. So I'm actually going to have to build a storage room over here for the goods that need to be kept undercover, but that's okay. We'll get that built. Living unit number 2 probably will go here. And then living unit number 3 will go up here. Living units, also this will be like a dining room, and then it'll have the housing on the outside. This will probably be the rec room with the housing on the outside, and then this will serve as whatever with the housing on the outside. It's unlikely I'm going to need, probably unlikely I'm going to need this third one even, but it's even more unlikely that I'll need more than 3. So this should be our main food production area. We could probably grow some trees and stuff up here. I set this area over here for whatever. This is some probably spare storage or something. And then I've set up what should be our perimeter wall. May not end up being exactly that, but I think that's going to work out pretty well. We've got this area over here. I think this is where I was going to grow trees, was in that mature or that fertile soil, and then there's a bunch more fertile soil down there. So I've planned out our colony, and that should hopefully last for forever. Turning these zones back on, so most of these are growing zones that I have set to not allow sowing. I put them to dandelions, but it doesn't matter what they're set to. And what this will do is it will cause them to cut down any trees that are grown at 100%, and basically it will just slowly clear the trees from all these zones, and it should keep a decent flow of wood coming in from the very start. So I use that to clear my land out. Just take your growing zone, set it to not allow sowing. Don't go overboard on it because they will go a little crazy cutting stuff down. I've also set up some basic stockpile zones. This one is for food because that's where our kitchen is going to be. This one is for wood. This one is for steel. We'll build a roof over this area pretty quickly. And this is just a generic low priority zone for everything, and this is a generic low priority dumping zone. I didn't want to spend all day getting the zones set up and everything, so I just did kind of a basic idea there. I have assigned weapons to each of the pawns, although they haven't had a chance to pick them up yet. let's let them do that. They're all going to want to eat. So our first priority is going to be getting some food. So once again, I used my convention of X is for my snipers. So that's my guy with the high level shooting and is a careful shooter. He's going to do pretty good. H is for just regular shooter. Now this guy does have a high melee, but he is trigger happy and a shooter. So I'm going to give him a ranged weapon, and I'm going to set him to a hunting, and hopefully he will get some good practice on hunting. I probably should have him use the short bow actually. So I will have him and Leonard switch weapons. Leonard's a careful shooter, and he's got a good shooting skill. So that leaves Hamster and Minoka for melee. Hamster could really take either fighting style, but I put him on melee because it's nice to have a couple of melee fighters. And then Minoka has a clear advantage in melee. But she also could switch to shooting if it comes down to that. I have unforbidden all of the wood. I guess I haven't unforbidden all the wood. I thought I had. And that's really all you start with. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the orders to harvest, and we're just going to go through and we're going to harvest all the berries that are out there. There's usually some berries, not too many though, but food is basically an immediate concern, and we've got those harvested, or set to harvest anyways. We do need to set our priorities on work. So let's go ahead and we'll set Scout up here as the template. And so I give everybody ones through flicking, so they'll always worry about those priorities first. And then I'm actually just going to blank out everything else, and we'll use you as the template there. We're going to set those to 2. Great. And we're going to copy, what? Oh, for crying out loud. Work, copy, paste, 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 paste. And you guys can all doctor, so that's good. I'll keep it set that way. I guess green will be our warden, our primary warden. So everything over here is 1, and from here over the highest is going to be 2. Ideally, I would have everybody just have 1 level 2 priority, but I don't think that's quite going to work out just right. Gray can only do construction, really. But you know what? You really ought to do... I'm going to have Gray actually focus on research ahead of anything else. And you're not going to do too much more other than research and some and haul and clean. I'm going to have you also focus on research, because you're not quite as... widely skilled. I'm going to have you do cooking because that's important, and then I will have you do those after you do your hauling and cleaning. Down here, this is a crafter as the main skill. So we have a warden, we have a cook, we have a constructor, we don't have a grower, and you are very good at growing. We have a miner, and then we're going to need some crafters and tailors and so forth. But I think it's going to be a while before you actually start getting anything to work with, so we'll leave you like that. So that's got all of our basics set aside here. We're going to do this for this. We're going to set everybody to mine if it comes down to that. And I'm actually going to bump that up to 3. I'm not too worried about art at this stage. Great, so I think that looks good. Everybody's set to haul and clean, of course. As a matter of fact, I'm going to set you guys to clean even before you do research, so that way we get all the cleaning done. Speaking of cleaning, I am going to want to clear the home area, because all of these fields I just laid are going to be home area, and we do not want to waste our pawn's time cleaning all of that stuff. But we will set the home area, which will be automatically set when we start building some buildings. So even though this is set to be our prison and this will be a home area, I may make this my first living quarters connected up with the kitchen here, and just make that the original walled off section. and then connect it to this building like here, and then connect it to the workshop down here, and leave that walled off, and then kind of slowly expand from there. That sounds like a good plan. So first off, let's get a cover set up for, I'm going to go ahead and turn the speed on so they can start doing something. And which one? I was going to have leopard. Is he the one? Nope. It's going to be gray. Gray, why don't you drop that Pila? And leopard, I believe you're just like a 5. Yep, why don't you equip that Pila? And then gray is going to equip your short bow. And I'm going to set gray. Nope. Now, how's leopard reserving that bow? There we go. Equip short bow, thank you. And we're going to undraft both of you guys. And I'm going to set gray to be my hunter gray. Well, that's good because all you really do right now is clean and research. But that is going to skill up his archery skill, because, I mean, his range skill, because he has trigger happy, and so he's just going to fire off a bunch of shots after he harvests this raspberry bush, I guess. And I was going to go ahead and set up a structure. We're going to go with a wood wall. And we're just going to set up a very basic structure there so I can get this wood stockpile underneath the roof. Like that. That won't take very long. There we go. Wood deteriorates when it's exposed, so we don't want that. Let's set up, we have 5 pawns, so we're going to set up 5 beds. And I'll set up 2 more because we're going to need those as well before too long. Let's see if Leonard, awful, good, awful, good, normal, shoddy. You could hear whoever that was getting plenty of experience in shooting down there. This ridiculous constant shooting. You can see they're cutting down these trees because they're in the growing zone. They're just at 100% maturity. So that's a efficient kind of passive way to gather wood. Now that I've got that built, I really ought to finish building my kitchen so I can protect my food sources. You can see there's rats already hanging around wanting to eat up all those yummy berries, yummy pemmican. Get that built up. You know, I don't think I'm going to need a double door on this. Maybe once I discover electricity, but I think discovering electricity is going to be a little bit of a chore. What is going on with Gray? Is he still... So he must have caught that turkey? He did catch that turkey. So I'm going to need to set up a butchering table and then a cooking bench so we can get pemmican going, because that is very important for our initial food stockpiles. I want to wait till a roof gets built on this door. So that's the thing my analysis of tribal is that food is very important to get set up at the start. So I'm not going to even bother getting a building for my pawns to sleep in before I get food going. So let's get that food going first, and then we shall worry about a place for you to sleep. Great. And we're actually going to set this for animal corpses as well, but not insect corpses. I don't like getting those in there. Turn that off. Great. And so that should carry that animal corpse over here. And then we're going to set this bill to butcher creature to forever. Details. We're going to shrink the cooking radius. I can't really see it from this screen, but we're going to shrink it down to where it's mostly just including the stockpile zone. Maybe a little bit outside of the stockpile zone, but at least we've got the entirety of the stockpile zone in there. So that should turn that turkey into some delicious meat. We We do need to cut all these trees. They're not going to grow any more than they've already grown, so they may as well be cut out of here. Lots of them inside this building. Great, and finally production. We want that fueled stove. I don't have enough steel, so I've already got to go out and start mining. Is this a steel wall? I love it. We're going to deconstruct that whole thing. Orders, deconstruct. Great. Give us that. Let's go ahead and remove that steel floor as well. It looks like steel floor anyways. And then there's probably going to be a steel floor underneath the wall. Nope, there's not. That's too bad. Don't know how much. Oh, it looks like there is. Don't know how much steel that provided, but getting us closer to being able to build that stove. And enjoy sleeping under the stars, everyone. It's not going to last. Let's order them to start mining. Got that area down there. May as well mine out the steel. Set up an area where we can have an infestation even, potentially. Look a little further around my map. There's obviously an ancient danger in there. It'll be exciting to open that up. There's a nice plasteel vein down there. Some more steel. There's some gold. Well, that's good. I can use that for the component assembly bench, or the multi-analyzer eventually. Some components over here. Pretty sparse map as far as resources go. There's a little more steel. But it's good. I want a challenge. Steel way over there. Some good components. Some more steel. Some more components. Looks like another ancient danger up there. It's like some good steel in that rock thing there. A little bit of steel up in this one too. And there we go. That's it. That's the whole map. Here comes our stove, just about to come online. There we go. Let's set up a bill on the stove, please. There we go, bill. Make pemmican, do forever, details. There we go, let's try this again. Shrink that radius down. So shrunken down, that might be a little too much. We're gonna leave it there. Close, great. So now we'll start getting some pemmican made. Let's get some more hunting done. That is the O key for the hotkey. We're gonna go back to construction and we're gonna build. This is my future prison, so I really want the door to be basically up there. Build this wall around like that. Put the door right there. Gonna shoot your buddy there. That hunting. Problem with having my incompetent, trigger-happy hunter. Hamster's keeping the good food coming. More efficient food source. Oof, I don't like all the danger of crossfire. I can't believe nobody's gotten shot. It's a terrible angle, Gray. But you're getting your experience. You may have already capped out on experience for the day. Nope. Well, that's good. You started out at level 0. You'll be pretty close to level 2 by the end of the day. End of the second day, I guess it will be. Leopard is almost done with our residence building. So close. There we go. Very good. That building is completed. How are we doing on resources? We are doing okay on resources, but not great. I could use... Oh, you know what I could use? Jeez, I'm so excited about food. I didn't even consider planting. That's the second time I've done that in my Let's Play series. I was going to set up the zones before we started, but I didn't because I was like, oh, I should let them see how I set up my planting zones. A dummy. All right, so we'll leave that one with potatoes. We're gonna do a 5 by 5 of, let's say, corn. Let's do one of berries. And how about one of, oh wait, I probably should change that to berries. Just saying it's going to be berries doesn't make it berries. There we go. And we'll do you rice, I suppose. And some heel root. I'm going to need that. All right, well, it won't take too long for someone to get up to that. And over here, we're going to do some smoke leaf. And how does that look? I want to get something going on up here. I know there's something else I want to be growing. Cotton, of course. Cotton, definitely good. And let's let them get that planted before I start worrying about other stuff. Green is just wandering around, but not in a bad way. We are going to use some joy items and get ourselves a horseshoe pin going on down here. And that will allow them to enjoy themselves a little bit. I'm not too worried about getting a wall yet, but I will have to get a wall before too long. And hopefully I will be able to get some decent weapons before I run into an alien ship. As long as I have a couple of sniper rifles, I should be fine when an alien ship crash lands. Otherwise, this series might be over very soon. I don't know, we'll see. A little too early to be talking about that. The game thinks I need defenses, but I think we're okay for now. A lot of food poisoning from pemmican. Jeez, you guys, be a little more careful, would you? Let's clean that kitchen up a little bit. Maybe that'll help with all the food poisoning. Burn through most of our wood by doing that, but I guess that's what we're going to have to do. As we'll have the wood floors around this area to cover the main places where they're going to be walking for now. Be nice to get all of those stone slags out of the way. So let's set that up as well. Give them a chance to tidy up their surroundings to start here. Looks like we're off to a decent start. Hopefully it'll turn out to be an interesting colony. Hard to say. Yeah, we've got a couple more minutes to let it run. Well, if this is your first time on my channel, I would suggest that you subscribe to my videos so you can see more. I have a Transport Fever series that I've just started. There's a Civ 6 series that I'm about halfway through. And then I have my original Rimworld Let's Play, the Fallville Let's Play, that I just wrapped up. So there's plenty of other things to see. That's why you want to subscribe, so you can get all the episodes as they come out. I try to post something every day. I do have a full-time job, so usually I bank up a few episodes on the weekend, and I'm going to try to not get too far ahead. But I'm still developing this channel. I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen. But I am going to try to keep regular content coming out. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button down below. It's on the right. And leave some comments in the comment area. That is fun for me to talk to people. I like talking about Rimworld, and you can ask questions and possibly even give me suggestions. Just don't be a troll. That's all I really ask. And I'm going to call that good for this episode. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you next time. Bye.